I decided to take a salary cut because I wanted to be able to hire more people to run my online business. And today, I want to tell you why I decided to take a salary cut in order to hire more team members. So, welcome back to another episode of the Ken Kelly podcast, where we talk about all the things we always talk about, including money, online marketing, work life balance, and everything. And today is one of those episodes where we're talking about work life balance for me, for the people that work with me, but also it's going to kind of share with you the things that I really value. I think the things that I value now at 43 are a lot different than 33 versus 23. And I think that it's going to really come across in today's episode. And I hope that this episode today will inspire you. I hope that today's episode will require you to think, process, and plan, and to just think about the people around you. And especially if you're a business owner, that you consider yourself and the people that you hire to work with you. So when I thought about today's episode, I knew my team would listen to this and would see this. I knew that you would hear it and see it. And I also knew that it was going to make you think. And that's what I'm going for because, I have a mission in my business to help 100,000 women become financially successful and live happy and healthy lives, which doesn't just include making a lot of money. It means that she is happy, she's whole, she's got time, she's got freedom, and she's living the life she deserves to live. And in order for me to help you with that, I got to be transparent. I've got to tell you what I did well, what I did not so well, and then the changes that I have made and am making to give me the life that I really want, but also give the people that work for me the life that they want. Okay. When I first started my business, because I wanted to make more money. I knew there was only so much money I could make at my job, and I wanted to make more money. I mean, I was raised like everybody else, for the most part, raised to be an employee. So all I really knew what to do was how to work 9 to 5. So when I started my business, I decided that I was going to run my business like it was a job because I needed to build discipline within myself so that I could build a business. And the last 8 years, I've been doing just that. I've been running this business like I have a job, right? And it's worked well for me in the sense of discipline. But what it also has done is has me crippled, right? So I'm 43, I'm new to Houston, and I was new to San Diego previously. And the business that I built caused me to work like everybody else, right? So, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just giving you an example that only time I can go hang out with people was after 5. The only time I could have lunch was on the weekends, like I was bound to being at home in my office and whatever. That's not why I decided to become an entrepreneur. And so I've been really looking at that and realizing how much time I still do not have because of the way that I set up my business. And when I developed core values for my company, one of the core values that I created was work-life balance. And I wanted to have it to where we all have a balance between work and life. We're not working super over long hours and all that type of stuff. And so I was saying that was my value, but we were all like, I'm working till 5. My team is in different countries, so they're working till 5, which it's not convenient for how they're working. They're working late at night USA time so they can make USA money, but the value is off. If I want to have work-life balance, they want to have work-life balance, and we've got to make some changes. I've got to figure out how to run my business in a way that gives me more money, more time, but also doesn't have them working night shift hours. Everything's still getting done. Everything's still going great, but they have time in their time zone to do what they want to do. I've been evaluating everything that I'm doing for myself first. And I was like, I want to travel. I want to go on a date in the middle of the day. I want to be able to work from my laptop and not always in my office. Like I want to be able to I can buy a house if I want to, but if I want to go down to a 1-bedroom apartment, I want to be able to do that and not have to have an office kind of set up the way that I do here because of how I built my business. You know what I mean? And I just kind of been thinking about that, over the last year or so. My expenses have gone way down since living in Houston, and so it caused me to just have these thoughts of like, if I wasn't paying this for rent, what could that go towards? Or that could go towards this or this investment or this investment property or just I've been having all these thoughts. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be able to have more time, what do I need? I'm like, oh, I've got to hire more people. I've got to have people doing the things that's going to help me do what I wanted to do. Now I can run paid ads, but I'm like, I think I would love it to have social media manager. So I have been last couple of years been really trying to find the best social media managers. And we found someone a bunch of different times. And eventually we got to this one final stage. And I said, well, let me see what happens if I hire two people to do the same job. And as they're doing the same job, that they can do it extremely well. So then we hired two people and we would train them for like 6 weeks. And it was a interesting process. I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about the company, learned a lot about people. We got a lot of systems and processes created, but then we realized that these two people really weren't the right people for the social media job. They could do VA work, but they couldn't quite do the social media stuff. And we were like, okay. So then I was like, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to invest and we have to find two good people. And so I said, okay, I don't want to spend a bunch more money until the company's making more money, right? Because it's like, no matter how much money you make in your business, you need to have a budget, right? And so I created a budget for the business, and to hire a second social person wasn't in the budget. And I was like, well, I am going to pay myself less money so that we can have a second person. Because if we have two people, then that's one other thing that I don't have to do. And it's not as much pressure on that one person. Then my assistant, she's already doing a lot. But if those two people are now she can offload some of the stuff that she would do and she can offload it onto them. What does that do? That gives everybody balance. Me more balance, the social media manager's balance, my assistant, just balance. You know what I mean? And once we started interviewing people and found one person, and then I interviewed the second person, I was like, oh, shoot, this person is really going to help us to be strategic. It's going to do a lot of healthy balance. And I said to myself, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Right. And so I have 5 reasons why I took a salary cut and hire more team members. And I just want to tell you each 5 of them. And then if you're here on YouTube, talk to me in the comment section. Let's talk about it. If you're on the podcast, come to Instagram and let's talk about it on Instagram. I check my DMs. All right. So here's 5 things. So the first thing that I said was that I really wanted more time for my life. The first reason I really wanted more time for my life, I'm 43 years old and I grew up really poor, right? Just not having money, not having access, not being able to do much, right? Because it just was what it was. I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, I'm not rich, I'm not poor. And I'm like, there's so much I haven't experienced. There's so much of the world I have not seen because I just haven't been able to, When I went to Europe for a conference, I was like, just realizing how much of the world I have not experienced. As I hear my Australian friends talking and my friends from Ireland talking, and I'm just like, wow, there's so much to see and there's just so much opportunity, And I'm like, I want to live that life. I want to be able to experience life, That doesn't mean I won't be working. It just means that if I have a great laptop and I got Wi-Fi and I have a little light, I can be working from anywhere. And so I wanted more time for my life. I really, really want to go to breakfast with someone. I really want to go to lunch with someone. I want to go to Italy and spend some time in Italy. I just always wanted to do that. I've never been to New York. I want to go to New York. I know it sounds crazy, but I've never been to New York. One day I want to learn how to snowboard or whatever, just have those experiences. I just haven't been able to because of time. And I'm like, I want more time. And I know that with multiple people doing the jobs that I was doing, now that's not on me anymore. Right. And I can have more time, but of course it makes us make more money in the business. Right. The second reason why I decided to take a salary cut is because in order for the company to grow, we need more people, period. There's only so much the company can do with me. Like I'm the face, I work with the clients, I do the sales, I do the social media. We can't grow beyond me because I can't handle it, right? I'll go viral all the time. And I can't even handle responding to all the comments. There's so much that we're missing because I don't have the bandwidth, you know? But if other people are responsible for those things, then guess what? That's their sole responsibility. The company just can't grow. It just could not grow. It's gotten to a point, but I'm trying to take it to a point, and it can't get there without people helping me. Okay. The third reason why I decided to take a salary cut is because I didn't want to have to create a second revenue stream to hire a person. What does that mean? So currently we make money through speaking, consulting, my courses, affiliates, and things of that nature. To hire another person, that means that's reoccurring expense, right? That's someone's an hourly person, a reoccurring expense. I was like, okay, who's the biggest expense? Me. How much money am I giving myself? X. Okay, cool. What if I took a portion of that and gave it to another person? What would happen? Well, I would make less, which is fine, but that person will begin to produce. And over the course of like a year, 2 years, that's going to turn into way more money that I'm paying that person because that responsibility is off of me and that's that person's sole responsibility. And so the quote unquote, the change or whatever, it's not change. I'm just being dramatic. That I took from myself and gave to another person, that is literally going to help me make more money, right? So let's just say in a year, I bring all that money back to me plus a raise or whatever. Great. You know what I mean? I don't cost a lot anyway. My biggest expense is my apartment. My car's paid off. It's just I'm not a big expense, right? But I could take that off and give to somebody else, you know, and just the joy of being able to be responsible for somebody's income. Somebody's giving, you know, but I'll talk about that in the end. Okay. The fourth reason, and there's one more. The fourth reason why I took a salary cut is because more team members means more creative minds. So I've had my 2 team members for the last, how long has this been? 2 weeks now, I think. One's been a whole week and whatever. And we've been on all these meetings. One of them is very creative. Another one of them is very tactical, operational, whatever. We were in this meeting the other day talking about LinkedIn, and I was glazing over by the amazement about how this other girl thinks. And the creative one doesn't think that way. But I'm like, together, they're like the perfect storm, right? And with me, we are doing these amazing things, right? And I'm like, the next time I launch a product or course, I don't no longer have to be the only one coming up with creative strategies. I'm not the only one who's looking for errors or opportunities or whatever that like all these minds are now here helping me, right? I always used to say, I always need to have a 20-year-old around me. And the reason is because they think different. They're fresh out of school. One of the social media managers is like 22. She just graduated college. Thinks completely different than I think. And it's so valuable when we're in these meetings. So valuable when we're in these meetings. And it's because I'm the 43-year-old mind. The other one's like 35. And then she's like 22. Amazing to have these creative minds constantly swirling to help my company grow. And then the fifth reason is because I want my assistant to be less busy. She works so hard. One of her desires is to have a family, and she's married. And I'm like, I look forward to the day where she tells us I'm pregnant, right? And we can celebrate, and then she can do what she's doing, right? And she is able to be with her kid, do her job when she does her job. And it's like, she's not having to work USA. She's working the hours that make sense for her for the life that she wants. You know what I mean? And she's been with me now for 4 years. So I'm like invested in what the experience I want her to have with her life. You know what I mean? And that was one of my reasons. I was like, I really want that for her. I just want that for her. And I have it I have control to be able to make her less busy so that when that time comes, you know what I mean? And I just feel like it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? It's just the right thing to do. If I had a job, I would want my boss to feel the same way. You know, like a friend of mine just invited me to her 50th birthday in the Philippines in June. And I was like, okay. But then it hit me. Oh, if I say yes, then I can do a retreat in the Philippines and my team can all come to this retreat. I can meet them all finally. And I was just like, oh my God. But here we are talking about this time and financial freedom thing. Well, guess what? What we're trying to create is now creating a space. So then as we are building what we're building and the money and all that type of stuff, I'll be able to buy or rent an Airbnb out there. Everybody can come to it and we can just have a grand old, you know what I'm saying? That's why I did it, because I'm like, I want to grow my business, but I want the people that are with me to be impacted in such a great way. Of course, I want to be able to have time to volunteer with people and serve and do all this type of stuff or whatever. But right now, it's more so selfish. It's for me and the people that work with me. You know what I mean? And my clients. I think that if more of us think about the impact we really want to have, what we really want to have happen for our lives, with our time, that we would consider doing the same, because I already know what's going to happen. Like, I took a cut, but in 6 months, it's going to happen. In 12 months, something else it's going to be astronomical. I told my team, I said, look, we can't do a raise this year or bonuses this year, but the goal is by next year is for, like, you guys all got a raise, you all got a bonus, but you guys know what the market has been. And they're like, they get it. But they also see me, we're on a 4-day work week. They also see me when we haven't hit goals, I still have given them money. When it's their birthday, they see me send them gifts. They see what I'm trying to do, right? When we're working it out in our meetings about how they can have more time, they're constantly seeing how I'm invested in them, even if it doesn't mean, here, let me give you all this money, Like for Christmas, I'm like, I want to take time off. I want to go on a cruise. I'm taking 2 weeks off. They were all so surprised. I was like, but I want to figure out how y'all can take Christmas off too. They said, what do you mean? I said, because if I'm not working and y'all are working, I'm going to feel the pressure to go and check what y'all are doing in terms of what you need from me. And they were all in shock because they were like, she said, my husband wanted me to have the week off and now I get to have the week off. And then somebody else, like all of them wanted the week off, but they were like, well, how? And I'm like, because I value me and I value them. Now we're all taking a whole week off for Christmas. It's the greatest thing. Like, it's just like the greatest thing. And it's something that was within my grasp to be able to do. And so that's why I did it. So I want to know what you think. You're watching this on YouTube. Tell me what you think. Any questions? If you're listening to this on the podcast, come on Instagram. Tell me what you think. And then tell me what you think with the review. Like, you guys aren't writing any kind of reviews, but I would love them on Spotify and on Apple. Okay. So thank you so much for listening and watching.